My beloved child, pause for a moment and breathe this in, because what you are about to hear is not random, not delayed, and not meant for everyone. Heaven has been watching you quietly, closely, and with great attention. And just moments ago, something you did, something you may have thought was small, private, or unnoticed, sent a shockwave through the spiritual realm. This is why Archangel Michael is stepping forward now. This is not a coincidence. This is a confirmation. Listen carefully. There are moves that look ordinary on the outside but roar loudly in heaven. A decision you made, a restraint you showed, a prayer you whispered when no one else was around, an act of obedience when it would have been easier to walk away. This is what triggered the response. You did not do it for applause. You did not do it for recognition. You did it from the heart. And heaven responded immediately. Archangel Michael says, this was the moment the scale tipped in your favor. You crossed a spiritual threshold without realizing it. The resistance you've been feeling lately, the strange pressure before breakthrough, the sense that something was building, that was not confusion, that was alignment. You were being positioned for a release that already has your name written on it. Do not underestimate the timing of this message. You were meant to open this before the arrival, because preparation is part of the miracle. God does not release suddenly without first speaking clearly. What is coming needs recognition, so fear does not replace faith when it manifests. Some blessings arrive quietly. Others arrive with speed. This one carries momentum. Archangel Michael is showing me that heaven moved fast on your behalf. This was not placed in a waiting line. This was marked urgent. When God saw your heart posture, the instruction was clear: release it now. That is why things may already feel different around you. Conversations shifting, delays dissolving, doors that felt heavy suddenly becoming light. This is not your imagination. There are forces that expected you to quit earlier. There were moments when giving up would have seemed reasonable, but you stayed. Even when you were tired, even when you felt unseen. That endurance was not wasted. It became evidence, and evidence in heaven carries weight. Archangel Michael wants you to know this miracle is not generic. It is specific. It is personal. It is tailored to the very area where you almost lost hope. God saw where you held on by faith instead of feelings. And now He is responding with action, not explanation. This is why you are being told to open this message now. Because the miracle will require discernment. It will come through a channel you did not expect. It may arrive disguised as a conversation, an invitation, a sudden clarity, or a reversal that makes no logical sense. But do not question it when it shows up. Receive it. There is also a warning wrapped in love here. Do not talk yourself out of what God is sending. Do not delay because it feels too good to be true. Do not shrink because you think you are unqualified. This release is not based on perfection. It is based on alignment. And you are aligned. Archangel Michael is standing guard over this moment. What is yours will not be intercepted. What was released will not be canceled. You are stepping into a protected season. That is why peace is being restored first. Peace is the container for the miracle. Some of you have been praying for a sign. This is it. Others have been asking, did that choice really matter? Yes, it mattered more than you know. Heaven does not respond casually. When God moves immediately, it is because something rare was recognized. Stay attentive over the next hours and days. Do not rush. Do not force. Let it unfold. Gratitude will accelerate it. Trust will stabilize it. Silence, when guided, will protect it. Archangel Michael says, "You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are right on time, and what is arriving will confirm that in a way you will never forget. Chosen one, let your heart stay open as this message deepens, because what Archangel Michael is revealing now explains why heaven moved so quickly in your case. Many people pray, many hope, many wait, but very few move when God whispers instead of shouts. You did, and that is why this response did not come slowly. You acted in alignment before you had proof. You trusted without guarantees. That is rare, and heaven responds to rarity. Archangel Michael says the spiritual realm recognizes timing more than noise. There are moments when God watches to see who will move without being pushed. You were tested quietly. No dramatic signs. No loud confirmations. Just a gentle little nudge. And you obeyed it. That obedience created a legal opening in the spirit. It gave heaven permission to step in where resistance once stood. This is why the miracle coming toward you carries authority. It is not fragile. It is not easily shaken. It is backed by divine order. Some blessings require warfare to maintain, but this one comes with protection built into it. Archangel Michael himself is assigned to ensure that what was released reaches you intact. You may be wondering why it feels like things shifted before anything visibly changed. That is because the change happened first in the unseen. The atmosphere around you adjusted. Opposition lost its footing. Delays lost their assignment. And now the physical world is catching up with what heaven already finalized. There is something important you must understand right now. This miracle is not only about you, it is through you. What God is releasing will ripple outward. Others will be impacted by your obedience. Your story will unlock faith in someone who is currently on the edge of giving up. This is why the enemy tried to exhaust you earlier, but it didn't work. Archangel Michael says you are entering a stretch of clarity. Confusion is lifting. The fog is thinning. Decisions that once felt heavy will soon feel obvious. This is part of the miracle. God is not only changing circumstances, He is sharpening discernment. You will know what to say yes to, and more importantly, what to walk away from without guilt. Be mindful of your words in this season. Speak expectation, not fear. Speak gratitude before you see everything clearly. Words are seeds, and the ground around you is fertile right now. What you say has momentum attached to it. Align your mouth with what heaven has already spoken. Some of you listening have been carrying silent questions. Was that sacrifice worth it? Did anyone notice what I gave up? Archangel Michael answers clearly, yes. God noticed every moment of restraint, every tear you didn't explain, every boundary you held even when it cost you comfort. None of it was wasted. It was all recorded. Now, as this message resonates with your spirit, understand this is not content you found by accident. If this is speaking directly to your situation, I want you to engage with it. Let heaven know you are aware. Like this message, share it with someone who needs confirmation, and comment something simple like "I receive." When you interact, you are not helping an algorithm, you are signaling agreement in the spirit. And agreement accelerates manifestation. Make sure you are subscribed and connected here, because these messages arrive right on time for those who are positioned to hear them. This space is not casual. It is intentional. And staying connected keeps you aligned with what God is unfolding step by step. If you feel stirred right now, that is not emotion, that is recognition. Archangel Michael says, do not rush ahead of God, but also do not hesitate when the next instruction comes. It may feel small again. It may not make sense to others. But remember, heaven responds to obedience, not opinions. What comes next will require courage, but you will not do it alone. Pay attention to confirmations around you. Repeated words. Unexpected encouragement. Doors opening with little effort. These are not coincidences. They are markers letting you know you are on the right path. Stay humble. Stay grounded. Stay thankful. And before you move on from this moment, pause and sit with it. Let this truth settle in your spirit. God saw you. God responded. And what is already on the way will make the waiting make sense. Hold on, because what unfolds next will connect the dots in a way you did not expect, and you will be glad you stayed present for it. Beloved one, receive this gently, because Archangel Michael is now revealing what was happening behind the scenes while you thought nothing was changing. There were meetings in heaven about you, not discussions filled with doubt, but confirmations sealed with authority. God does not rush, yet when alignment is complete, He does not delay either. That is why this moment feels different. The waiting season did not end because time passed. It ended because purpose was fulfilled. Archangel Michael says there was a spiritual measurement taken over your life. Not of your achievements, not of your mistakes, but of your heart. And when that measure was found full, heaven responded. This is why the release was immediate. You reached a point where God could trust you with more without it becoming a burden or a distraction. But surety triggered movement. There is something sacred about what you are stepping into. This miracle is not loud by default, but it is powerful by nature. It carries peace with it. It does not come with chaos or confusion. When it arrives, there will be a deep knowing in your spirit that this is from God. No striving will be required. No manipulation. Just alignment. Archangel Michael is also showing that this miracle is restorative. Something that was taken, delayed, or slowly drained from you is being returned in a purified form. God never restores randomly. He restores with wisdom. What comes back now will not break you the way it once did. It will bless you instead of consuming you. You may notice that old temptations no longer pull at you the same way. Old fears feel distant. Old cycles feel irrelevant. That is not accidental. That is evidence that you outgrew the season that tried to define you. And because you outgrew it, God closed it without drama. Understand this clearly. This miracle has your name on it, but it also carries God's signature. That means no one else can claim it, copy it, or cancel it. It is protected by divine authority. Archangel Michael stands watch not because the miracle is fragile, but because it is valuable. There will be a moment soon where you are tempted to question the simplicity of how it arrives. Resist that urge. God often moves in ways that look ordinary so pride cannot take credit. But do not mistake simplicity for insignificance. What shifts through this will echo for years. Some of you will receive this miracle through reconciliation, others through opportunity, others through clarity that instantly changes your direction. The form may differ, but the source is the same, and the timing is intentional. Now listen closely, because this part matters. Gratitude before manifestation is a key. Thank God now, not later. Speak appreciation while it is still unfolding. This posture locks in the blessing and keeps your spirit aligned with heaven's flow. Archangel Michael says you are being invited into deeper trust. Not blind trust, but tested trust. You have already proven faithful in small things. Now you are being entrusted with more. This is not about elevation for ego. This is about expansion for impact. Type "I receive the promise" in the comments if this message is resonating with your spirit right now. Blessing code 911 has just been released over your life. And before this moment closes, hear this invitation that flows directly from what you've just received. I hear the Lord saying, as you have opened your heart to receive, now open your hand so my light can reach farther. When you sow into this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping heaven reach someone who is still crying in the dark for confirmation. Every seed becomes oil in the lamp, keeping this fire burning so God's voice continues to reach those appointed to hear it. This is not generosity. This is obedience meeting opportunity. I am asking you, right now, to respond as the Spirit leads, through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, with a link waiting in the description. What you release today becomes a river that carries hope to homes you will never see. I speak blessing over every giver. May your harvest rise quickly and return multiplied. Act now, because heaven always responds to those who move when God speaks. Precious soul, as this message unfolds further, Archangel Michael is drawing your attention to something subtle yet powerful that many overlook at this stage. When heaven releases a miracle, it also releases a transition. And transitions often feel quieter than battles. There is less resistance but more responsibility. This is where discernment becomes your closest companion. You may feel a gentle shift in how you respond to people, situations, and even your own thoughts. Things that once triggered you now pass by without hooking into your emotions. This is not distance or coldness. This is maturity. Archangel Michael says you are being trained to steward peace, because peace is the atmosphere where miracles remain stable. Understand this clearly. What God has released toward you is not meant to pull you into noise. It is meant to draw you into clarity. If something tries to rush you, pressure you, or confuse you in the coming days, pause. Not every open door is an instruction. Some are distractions trying to imitate opportunity. You will recognize the right one by the peace that accompanies it. There is also a refinement happening in your relationships. Some connections will naturally deepen. Others will gently fade. Do not force explanations. Alignment does not require argument. Archangel Michael says God is simplifying your environment so you can focus on what truly matters. This is not loss. This is preparation. You might notice that your intuition feels sharper now. That is because heaven is trusting you with clearer signals. Pay attention to inner nudges, repeated thoughts that carry peace, and moments where something feels settled even if you don't yet have all the details. God often confirms direction through calm assurance, not urgency. This miracle you are stepping into is not only an answer, it is a beginning. And beginnings require space. That is why certain delays had to happen earlier. You were being protected from receiving too soon. Timing matters in the kingdom. What arrives at the wrong time can become a burden. But what arrives in divine order becomes a blessing. Archangel Michael wants you to release any lingering guilt from your past. It has no authority in this new chapter. God did not bring you this far to remind you of who you were. He brought you here to reveal who you are becoming. Do not let old labels speak louder than current grace. There is also an invitation here to rest your mind. Overthinking will not speed this up. Analysis will not improve it. Trust will. Let God do what only God can do. Your role is to remain aligned, attentive, and thankful. That posture keeps the flow uninterrupted. You may experience moments of sudden joy without a clear reason. Receive them. They are previews, little glimpses of what is unfolding behind the curtain. Heaven often lets joy leak through before manifestation arrives fully. It is reassurance, not imagination. Archangel Michael is also reminding you to guard your energy. You do not owe everyone access to your process. Some things are meant to be nurtured quietly until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Silence can be sacred. Not everything needs commentary. If at any point you feel tempted to compare your journey with someone else's, stop immediately. Comparison blurs gratitude. What God is doing with you is custom-made. Their timeline is not your confirmation. Your path is unique because your assignment is unique. There will soon be a moment where you realize something you once begged God for is no longer even a desire. That is not disappointment. That is evidence of growth. God sometimes answers prayers by changing the person praying, and that change opens the door for something better aligned. Archangel Michael says confidence will return to you in a clean, grounded way. Not arrogance, not fear-based control, but steady assurance. You will speak more clearly, decide more easily, and walk away from what no longer serves your purpose without regret. As you move forward, keep your spirit soft and your boundaries firm. Compassion does not require self-sacrifice. Love does not require depletion. God is teaching you balance, because what you are carrying next requires sustainability. Stay present. Stay prayerful. Stay open. You are not chasing this miracle. It is approaching you. And when it arrives fully, it will feel familiar, as if your spirit already knew it was coming. Archangel Michael says this is a season of quiet strength, deep trust, and steady unfolding. Nothing is missing. Nothing is late. Everything is aligning perfectly. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now draws your awareness to the inner recalibration taking place within you, because every external miracle is sustained by an internal shift. God never changes circumstances without also strengthening the vessel meant to carry the change. What you are feeling now is not uncertainty. It is expansion. Your spirit is adjusting to a new level of capacity. There is a reason why your tolerance for chaos has decreased. Situations that once felt normal now feel heavy or unnecessary. This is not impatience. This is discernment growing sharper. Archangel Michael says heaven is teaching you to recognize what drains you versus what develops you. This awareness is essential, because where you are going requires clarity, not clutter. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are no longer asking the same desperate questions. Instead, your spirit is seeking understanding, wisdom, and alignment. That shift alone reveals how much growth has already occurred. God responds differently to sons and daughters who have matured in trust. You are no longer pleading from fear. You are partnering from faith. There is also a quiet strengthening happening in your emotional core. Old winds are losing their voice. Memories that once carried pain now feel distant, as if they belong to another version of you. This is not denial. This is healing. Archangel Michael says when God prepares someone for lasting blessing, he removes the emotional hooks that could sabotage it. Pay attention to the calm resolve forming within you. This steadiness is not accidental. It is being built so you can stand firm when the miracle arrives and not be overwhelmed by it. Some people collapse under answered prayers because they never prepared for responsibility. But you are being prepared intentionally. There may be moments where you feel alone even though you are not lonely. This is a sacred kind of solitude. God sometimes creates space so he can speak more clearly without competition. Do not fill this space with noise. Let it breathe. Revelation often comes in stillness. Archangel Michael also wants you to understand that your past delays were not punishments. They were protections. Had certain things happened earlier, they would have attached to an older version of you and produced frustration instead of fulfillment. Now, the alignment is different. You are different. And that makes all the difference. You might be tempted to revisit old plans or reopen closed doors out of curiosity. Be careful. Not everything familiar is meant to be revisited. God closed some chapters because they served their purpose. Nostalgia can blur discernment if you let it. Trust the wisdom that led you forward. There is also an increase in spiritual authority forming in you. You may find yourself speaking with more confidence, setting boundaries without guilt, and declining things that no longer resonate. This is not rebellion. This is alignment. Archangel Michael says heaven honors those who honor their own growth. As this miracle draws closer, expect your priorities to shift. What once felt urgent may no longer demand your attention. What once felt secondary may now feel essential. This reordering is divine. God is aligning your focus so you can steward what is coming well. You are also being invited to forgive yourself. Not casually, but completely. Release the self-blame for not knowing what you know now. Growth requires grace, and grace multiplies capacity. Carrying shame into a new season restricts its potential. Lay it down. Archangel Michael says trust the pace of this unfolding. Not everything will arrive at once. Some blessings come in layers so they can be sustained. Impatience can cause you to miss the beauty of the process. Be present. This season is shaping you as much as it is blessing you. You may receive subtle confirmations through dreams, sudden insights, or moments of clarity that seem to come from nowhere. These are not random. They are heaven's way of keeping you encouraged without overwhelming you. Pay attention, but do not chase signs. Stay grounded. There is a deep assurance being planted in you now, a knowing that you are no longer surviving. You are building. This is the shift. Survival mode is ending. Intentional living is beginning. And with it comes peace that does not depend on circumstances. Archangel Michael stands watch as you cross this internal threshold. You are becoming someone who can receive without fear, lead without ego, and walk forward without needing constant reassurance. This strength is quiet, but it is unshakable. Remain open. Remain humble. Remain faithful. What is forming inside you now is the foundation for everything that is about to manifest outside of you. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is wasted. And nothing is out of order. Chosen one, Archangel Michael now turns your attention toward the moment you are standing in right now, because this phase is more important than it appears. Many people think the miracle itself is the climax, but heaven knows that what happens just before manifestation determines how long the blessing lasts. You are in a strengthening window. What you do here shapes the outcome. There is a quiet test of focus happening. Not temptation in the obvious sense, but distraction. Tumult pulls on your attention. Invitations that seem harmless. Noise that wants to fragment your energy. Archangel Michael says this is not an attack. It is a filter. God is watching what you prioritize when nothing dramatic is happening. This is where stewardship begins. You may feel an urge to explain yourself less and observe more. That is wisdom forming. Not everyone needs access to your thoughts, plans, or process. Silence, when guided by discernment, protects momentum. What God is building with you does not need validation to be valid. Notice how your patience is being refined. You are learning to wait without anxiety, to trust without constant reassurance. It did not come overnight. It came through endurance, through moments when you chose faith over frustration. Heaven remembers those moments, even if no one else saw them. Archangel Michael says your confidence is now being anchored correctly, not in outcomes, but in identity. You are beginning to understand who you are regardless of what happens next. That understanding makes you steady. and steadiness attracts favor. There may be a brief pause coming, not a delay, but a settling, like water becoming still before it reflects clearly. Do not misinterpret this as stagnation. God often quiets things right before acceleration. This pause allows alignment to lock in so nothing wobbles when movement resumes. Be mindful of your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself with the same grace God speaks to you. Harsh self-talk disrupts flow. Encouragement strengthens it. You are not behind. You are not catching up. You are exactly where you need to be for what is unfolding. Archangel Michael also wants you to recognize that your obedience has shifted atmospheres you may never personally witness. Your faith has protected others. Your restraint has opened doors for future generations. Some rewards are not visible immediately, but they are no less real. As this message resonates, take a moment to engage with it. If you feel aligned with what is being spoken, like this message and share it with someone who may be waiting for confirmation. Add your voice in the comments. Agreement has power. And if you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed and connected here, because these messages come in sequence. Staying connected keeps you positioned to hear what heaven is saying in real time. There is also an invitation to remain teachable. Even now, God is still shaping you. Pride closes doors that humility keeps open. You do not need to prove anything. Growth is evident without announcement. Let your life speak. You might notice that certain desires are becoming clearer while others are fading. This is alignment at work. God is narrowing your focus so you can move with precision instead of pressure. Precision conserves energy. Pressure drains it. Choose precision. Archangel Michael says guard against urgency that is not from God. Divine timing does not rush. It flows. If something demands haste at the cost of peace, pause. The right opportunities will meet you where you are without forcing you to compromise. There is also a reminder here to remain grateful for the small confirmations. A kind word. A moment of peace. A sudden solution. These are breadcrumbs of reassurance along the path. Gratitude for small things prepares you to steward greater things. You are also being prepared to recognize the miracle when it arrives, even if it does not look exactly how you imagined. God often answers prayers in ways that exceed expectation but bypass assumption. Stay open. Expectation invites surprise. Archangel Michael stands close as you move through this stage. Not because you are fragile, but because you are valuable. What is valuable is guarded. What is guarded is sustained. Before you move on, let this settle. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are being trusted. Trusted to listen. Trusted to choose. Trusted to walk forward without constant confirmation. Hold on to this moment. What comes next will connect everything you've been sensing beneath the surface. Keep watching. This is where the meaning becomes unmistakably clear. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now speaks to the deeper awareness awakening within you, because this is the stage where many people misunderstand what God is doing. When clarity increases, it can feel uncomfortable at first. You begin to see patterns you once ignored. You recognize truths you once avoided. This is not exposure for shame. It is revelation for freedom. You are becoming more honest with yourself, and that honesty is sacred. It allows God to heal places that could never be touched while hidden behind survival habits. Archangel Michael says heaven is not disappointed in what you are noticing now. Heaven is pleased that you are finally ready to see clearly without condemnation. There is a shift happening in how you perceive challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" your spirit is learning to ask, "What is this preparing me for?" That question alone moves you out of victimhood and into stewardship. God entrusts responsibility to those who see purpose beyond discomfort. You may feel moments of emotional release, tears without clear sadness, relief without obvious reason. These are not mood swings. These are layers lifting. When long-held tension leaves the body, it often exits quietly. Let it go. Do not analyze it. Healing does not need permission to complete its work. Archangel Michael wants you to know that discernment is increasing rapidly now. You are sensing intentions more accurately. You can feel when something is off without needing proof. This is not judgment. This is spiritual maturity. God sharpens discernment in those he trusts to lead themselves well. Be mindful not to confuse clarity with isolation. You are not meant to withdraw completely. You are meant to choose wisely. Fewer, deeper connections will matter more than many shallow ones. Quality over quantity is a kingdom principle. Protecting your energy allows you to give from fullness instead of depletion. There is also a refining of desire taking place. You are no longer drawn to things that only satisfy temporarily. Your soul is craving meaning, depth, and alignment. This is why distractions feel empty now. You have tasted something deeper, and there is no going back. Archangel Michael says this is the stage where confidence becomes quiet. You no longer need to announce your growth. You simply walk in it. Authority settles naturally when it is rooted in humility. And humility attracts favor without effort. You may notice that people respond to you differently. Some with respect, some with distance, some with curiosity. This is not something you need to manage. Let people adjust on their own. When you change, the dynamics around you must recalibrate. That is natural. There is also a warning wrapped in care here. Do not romanticize your past struggles. They shaped you, but they are not meant to be relived. Honor the lessons without returning to the environment that taught them. Growth requires moving forward, not revisiting old terrain. Archangel Michael reminds you that rest is not laziness in this season. It is wisdom. Your nervous system is learning safety. Your body is learning peace. Allow yourself moments of stillness without guilt. Restoration is part of preparation. You may receive insights about your future that feel both exciting and intimidating. Attention is normal. It means the vision is big enough to stretch you. God never reveals the full picture all at once. He gives just enough light for the next step so trust remains active. There is also a strengthening of your spiritual boundaries. You are learning when to engage and when to disengage. Not every battle is yours. Not every opinion deserves your response. Silence can be an answer when it is guided by wisdom. Archangel Michael says you are learning to stand without bracing for impact. For a long time, you lived expecting something to go wrong. The posture is changing. Hope is becoming safe again. Expectation is no longer dangerous. This is a major breakthrough, even if it feels subtle. Pay attention to how your body responds to environments now. Peace feels grounding. Chaos feels loud. This awareness will guide your decisions more than logic alone. God speaks through peace as much as he speaks through instruction. You are also becoming more patient with others. Not because you tolerate less, but because you understand more. Compassion deepens when healing takes root. However, compassion does not mean self-neglect. Balance is being restored. Archangel Michael stands beside you as you integrate all of this. Integration takes time. Do not rush it. What is becoming stable within you will soon support what is manifesting around you. This is a season of embodiment, not just belief. You are not just hearing truth, you are living it, and that lived wisdom will soon make room for the miracle to arrive without disruption. Stay grounded. Stay aware. Stay open. What unfolds next will feel natural, even if it once felt impossible. My precious one, Archangel Michael is now drawing a clear line between who you were and who you are becoming, because this stage marks a sacred crossing. You are no longer standing at the edge of possibility. You are stepping into embodiment. What once lived only in prayer is now finding form in your daily life. This is where heaven watches closely, not to judge but to affirm. There is a deeper calm settling into your decisions. You are no longer reacting from fear or urgency. You are responding from wisdom. This is not accidental. This is the result of trust built over time. Archangel Michael says heaven values consistency more than intensity, and you have learned to walk steadily even when emotions rise and fall. You may notice that certain conversations no longer interest you, not because you feel superior, but because your spirit is tuned to a different frequency now. Gossip feels heavy. Complaints feel draining. Drama feels unnecessary. This is alignment. God is refining your appetite so you are nourished, not distracted. There is also a new courage forming in you, the courage to be misunderstood without explaining yourself. This is a sign of inner security. When your identity is anchored in God, approval loses its grip. Archangel Michael says this freedom is essential, because what you are carrying next cannot be shaped by public opinion. You are also becoming more present. Moments feel fuller. Time feels more intentional. You are not rushing through life anymore. You are inhabiting it. This presence allows you to recognize divine movement even in ordinary spaces. God often hides miracles in plain sight. Pay attention to how your prayers feel now. They are quieter but deeper. Fewer words. More trust. That shift signals intimacy. God is not impressed by volume. He responds to alignment. And your alignment is evident. There may be moments where joy rises unexpectedly. Let it. Do not suppress happiness out of habit. You are allowed to enjoy this season without waiting for the other shoe to drop. Peace is not a warning sign. It is a confirmation. Archangel Michael is also reminding you to honor your growth. Acknowledge how far you've come. Not with pride, but with gratitude. Gratitude stabilizes blessings. It keeps the heart soft while the spirit grows strong. Some of you will soon be asked to step into a role, opportunity, or responsibility that reflects this inner change. It may feel natural and intimidating at the same time. That tension is healthy. It means you are stretching without straining. Trust that God equips what He invites. Be aware that not everyone will recognize this new version of you immediately. Some will still relate to who you used to be. Be patient. Transformation takes time to be witnessed. You do not need to convince anyone. Your life will speak for itself. Archangel Michael says you are now living from a place of inner permission. You no longer need external validation to move forward. This independence is not isolation. It is maturity. And maturity attracts divine partnership. There is also a heightened sense of responsibility growing in you. Not pressure, but care. You are more aware of your influence, your words, your presence. This awareness is a gift. It allows you to steward what God places in your hands with integrity. As this part settles into your spirit, recognize that you are standing in answered prayer territory. Some of what you once begged for has quietly become normal. Alone is a miracle. Do not overlook it. Type "I walk in alignment" in the comments if this message confirms what God has been doing in you. Lesson code 1440 is now activated over your life. And now, let this moment flow naturally into action. The Lord is saying, "You are witnessing the fruit. Now help me plant for others." When you support this mission, you are not funding a platform. You are placing seed into living soil where weary souls receive light, direction, and hope. Every act of giving becomes oil that keeps this flame burning so heaven's messages continue reaching those who are still waiting for confirmation. I am speaking directly to you now. This is your moment to respond, not later, not someday. Release your seed through Super Thanks, step into membership, or sow through PayPal using the link in the description, and watch how God multiplies what you place in His hands. I declare blessing over every giver. May clarity increase, peace deepen, and provision rise to meet you without strain. Move now, because obedience in this moment carries uncommon reward. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to the unseen stabilization happening around your life, because this is the phase where heaven secures what has been released. Many think the miracle ends when it appears, but in truth, the miracle matures after arrival. What God gives quickly, He also establishes wisely. You are entering a season where roots grow deeper than branches. There is a new sense of groundedness forming within you. You are not easily shaken anymore. Situations that once sent you into overthinking now meet a calmer response. This is not emotional numbness. This is emotional strength. Archangel Michael says you are learning how to remain steady while life continues to move. You may notice that your reactions are slower but more intentional. You pause before responding. You reflect before deciding. This is wisdom rising. God is teaching you how to respond instead of react, and that shift protects what He has entrusted to you. There is also a quiet confidence settling in your spirit. You are no longer seeking constant reassurance that you are on the right path. You feel it. You know it. This inner knowing is one of the clearest signs of alignment. When God leads, He also reassures internally. Archangel Michael reveals that certain cycles have fully closed now, even if your mind occasionally revisits them. The emotional charge is gone. The pull is gone. That chapter no longer has authority over you. Closure does not always come with conversation. Sometimes it comes with peace. You are also becoming more selective with your energy. You understand now that not every invitation deserves your presence, and not every request requires your yes. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. Protecting your energy ensures you can pour out where it truly matters. There may be moments where you feel a strange mix of gratitude and grief. Gratitude for where you are, and grief for what you have grew. This is normal. Growth often requires release. Let yourself honor what was without returning to it. You are allowed to move forward without carrying everything with you. Archangel Michael says God is also strengthening your discernment around timing. You are learning when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent. Timing is a language in the kingdom, and you are becoming fluent in it. You may find yourself drawn to simplicity now. Less noise, less clutter, less complication. This is not withdrawal. This is alignment. God often simplifies before He multiplies. Clearing space makes room for expansion. There is also a refinement in your purpose, becoming clearer. You are beginning to understand not just what you are called to do, but how you are called to do it. Your approach matters. Your spirit matters. God is shaping not only your actions, but your motives. Archangel Michael reminds you that consistency will be more important than intensity in the days ahead. Small, faithful steps carry more power than occasional bursts of effort. Do not underestimate steady obedience. Heaven responds to faithfulness. You are also learning to trust yourself again. For a long time, doubt clouded your decisions. You questioned your instincts. You second-guessed your discernment. That fog is lifting. Trust is being restored, not recklessly but wisely. Pay attention to the peace that follows certain choices. Peace is confirmation. When you choose an alignment, peace follows, even if the path is unfamiliar. Anxiety often signals misalignment, not challenge. Learn to differentiate between the two. Archangel Michael says your capacity to receive is expanding, not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually. You are allowing good things to stay instead of bracing for loss. This openness invites stability. The fear of loss once limited your joy. That limitation is breaking. You may also notice an increased sensitivity to truth. When something is not authentic, you feel it quickly. When something is aligned, it resonates deeply. This sensitivity is a gift. Guard it. Do not dull it by ignoring what your spirit clearly recognizes. There is a sense of quiet expectation building, not impatience, but readiness. You are not leaning forward anxiously. You are standing upright, prepared. This posture allows God to place more in your hands without overwhelming you. Archangel Michael stands watch as this stabilization completes its work. You are no longer just receiving blessings. You are learning how to sustain them. This maturity ensures that what God has released will not fade or fracture under pressure. Remain faithful in the ordinary moments. They are not interruptions. They are the framework that holds extraordinary things together. What is being established now will support you for years to come. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. The next unfolding will not surprise you. It will confirm what your spirit already knows. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks into a decisive moment of awareness, because you are entering a phase where alignment must be actively maintained. This is not about effort or striving, but about conscious agreement. What God has established in you is strong, yet it grows stronger when you stay attentive to His rhythm instead of drifting back into old patterns. There is a heightened sensitivity in your spirit right now. You're noticing when something feels slightly off, even if it looks good on the surface. This is not suspicion. This is discernment being refined. Archangel Michael says heaven is teaching you to trust subtle signals before things become obvious. This ability will save you time, energy, and unnecessary detours. You may feel a pull to simplify even further, to reduce mental clutter, to quiet unnecessary conversations, to choose depth over distraction. This is not withdrawal from life. It is engagement with purpose. God is drawing you into a more intentional way of living, where every yes carries weight and every no carries wisdom. There is also an invitation here to stay consistent with what grounded you during the waiting season. Prayer, reflection, gratitude, stillness. Do not abandon these now that movement has begun. Many people lose stability after breakthrough because they disconnect from the very practices that sustain them. You are being guided to remain rooted. Archangel Michael says your authority is now evident in how you carry yourself. You do not need to assert it. It is felt. This kind of authority does not intimidate. It reassures. Others may begin to seek your perspective, your calm, your insight. Share wisely. Not everyone needs access to everything you carry. You are also learning to recognize when to act quickly and when to pause. Both are forms of obedience. Not every instruction requires speed, and not every pause requires explanation. God leads through peace, not pressure. Trust the pace He sets. As this message resonates, take a moment to engage with it fully. If you are feeling clarity and confirmation, like this message and share it so others who are searching can find it. Leave a comment to mark this moment. Your voice matters here. And if you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed and connected, because these messages are unfolding in sequence. Staying connected keeps you aligned with what heaven is revealing step by step. Archangel Michael also reminds you to guard against subtle discouragement. Not loud doubt, but quiet thoughts that question whether things will truly last. Those thoughts are echoes of old seasons. They do not reflect your current reality. Stability is being built deliberately now. You may notice that your tolerance for dishonesty, especially self-dishonesty, has disappeared. You can no longer ignore what your spirit clearly knows. This is integrity forming at a deeper level. God entrusts more to those who walk in truth even when it is inconvenient. There is also a deepening sense of responsibility toward your own well-being. You are learning that rest is not optional. Boundaries are not selfish. Joy is not a distraction. These are essential components of sustainable blessing. Burnout does not glorify God. Balance does. Archangel Michael says this is a season where obedience looks ordinary but carries extraordinary impact. Simple choices, daily faithfulness, quiet alignment. Do not underestimate these moments. Heaven builds legacies through consistency, not spectacle. Be mindful of who you allow to influence your thinking. Voices matter. Energy matters. Surround yourself with what reinforces faith, not fear. Encouragement, not comparison. Growth thrives in supportive environments. You may feel moments of anticipation rising again, not anxious but alert. Like standing at a doorway knowing something is about to open. This awareness is accurate. Things are aligning quickly now. But speed will not override order. God is precise. Before you move forward, pause and acknowledge how much has already shifted within you. You are not who you were. You do not respond the same. You do not think the same. That internal transformation is proof that external manifestation is sustainable. Archangel Michael stands firm beside you, ensuring that what God has begun will not be interrupted. You are not walking blindly. You are walking guided. And the path ahead, though still unfolding, is secure. Stay with this message. The next revelation will bring clarity that ties everything together. Trust me, you will want to hear what comes next, because this is where understanding turns into unmistakable confirmation. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now invites you into a deeper recognition of what is quietly settling into place, because this is the stage where many overlook the miracle simply because it feels natural. When God moves with precision, He often removes the drama so the blessing can last. What you are experiencing now is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of order. You may feel a growing sense of internal alignment, as if your thoughts, emotions, and decisions are finally moving in the same direction. That unity within you is powerful. Division drains energy, but alignment multiplies it. Archangel Michael says heaven has been patiently bringing every part of you into agreement so nothing pulls against what God is establishing. There is also a noticeable decrease in inner conflict. You are no longer debating every step. You are no longer torn between options that once confused you. Clarity does not always arrive as a loud answer. Sometimes it arrives as the disappearance of confusion. That is what is happening now. You might find yourself trusting outcomes without needing to control the process. This is a significant shift. Control was once a defense mechanism, the way to feel safe. Now trust is becoming your safety. And trust opens doors that control never could. Archangel Michael reveals that this season is teaching you how to live without bracing for disappointment. For a long time, you expected things to fall apart, even when they were good. At the game shape you pod you. But now, your spirit is learning how to receive stability without suspicion. This is healing at a deep level. There is also a strengthening of your identity happening. You are no longer defining yourself by what you lack, what you lost, or what went wrong. You are beginning to define yourself by what God is doing now. Present grace is replacing past narrative. This shift frees you to move forward without dragging old stories behind you. You may notice that you are less reactive to other people's opinions. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not dismantle you. This emotional steadiness is not indifference. It is security. Archangel Michael says this is the fruit of anchoring your worth in God instead of outcomes. Pay attention to how your body responds to this season. There is less tension, less urgency, more ease in simple moments. These are signs that your nervous system is learning peace. God cares about your wholeness, not just your success. Restored peace is part of the promise. There may be moments where you reflect on how far you've come and feel a quiet awe. Not pride, but reverence. You survived what should have hardened you, and instead you softened. That softness is strength. Heaven values a heart that remains open even after disappointment. Archangel Michael also wants you to know that the discipline you developed during the waiting season is now serving you. You learned how to show up consistently, how to remain faithful without constant reward. Those habits are now the framework supporting this new phase. Nothing was wasted. You are also becoming more comfortable with uncertainty, not because you lack direction, but because you trust guidance. You do not need every detail mapped out to take the next step. God reveals enough to move forward without overwhelming you. That balance keeps dependence alive. There is a gentle warning here as well. Do not rush to label this season or compare it to previous ones. Let it be what it is. Overanalysis can pull you out of presence. Presence is where discernment stays sharp. Archangel Michael says this is a season of integration. Everything you learned in hardship is now blending with the peace you are experiencing. Wisdom and rest are meeting. Strength and softness are coexisting. This integration makes you resilient without being rigid. You may find yourself drawn to meaningful routines, simple practices that keep you grounded. Honor those. They are anchors. God often uses ordinary rhythms to sustain extraordinary callings. There is also an increase in gratitude flowing naturally from you. Not forced thankfulness, but genuine appreciation. Gratitude shifts perspective and protects joy. It reminds you that what you are living in now was once something you prayed for. Archangel Michael stands watch as this integration completes. You are no longer in transition the way you were before. You are settling. And settling does not mean stagnation. It means stability. Stability allows growth without collapse. Remain attentive but not tense. Open but not unguarded. Confident but not right. You are walking in step with divine timing, and that rhythm will carry you forward without strain. The final unfolding is near, and when it arrives, it will not shock you. It will resonate. Your spirit will recognize it immediately, because you have already become the person who can receive it. Stay present. Stay grounded. What comes next will seal everything you have sensed along the way. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything settles into truth, because Archangel Michael is now standing at the edge of completion with you. Not an ending that closes things off, but a sealing that makes what God has done permanent. What you are stepping into now is not fragile. It has weight. It has structure. It has divine approval resting on it. You may feel a deep sense of recognition in your spirit, as if something has finally clicked into place. This is not excitement alone. It is alignment becoming tangible. The waiting, the refining, the quiet strengthening, the inner shifts that felt slow and invisible have all converged into readiness. Heaven does not release what cannot be sustained. And now, you are ready. Archangel Michael says this miracle carries confirmation, not confusion. When it fully manifests, you will not need excessive explanation. There will be a calm certainty that this is from God. No striving will be required to keep it. No fear will be needed to protect it. It will rest naturally in your life, because your life has been prepared for it. There is also a sense of peace being locked in now. Not the kind that depends on circumstances, but the kind that remains steady even when things are still unfolding. This peace is a gift. It is also a guard. Protect it. Peace will help you discern what belongs in this next chapter and what must remain behind. You are also stepping into a season of testimony, not necessarily spoken, but lived. Others will notice the change without you announcing it. They will see steadiness where there used to be strain, clarity where there used to be confusion, confidence where there used to be hesitation. Your life will quietly point to God without effort. Archangel Michael wants you to remember that this miracle did not arrive because you were perfect. It arrived because you were faithful. Faithful in moments no one applauded. Faithful when results were slow. Faithful when it would have been easier to shut down. That faithfulness created space for heaven to move fully. There may still be moments ahead that require patience, but they will no longer feel heavy. Waiting now carries hope instead of fear. You are no longer waiting from emptiness. You are waiting from fullness. A difference changes everything. You are also being reminded not to rush past gratitude. Pause. Acknowledge God. Honor what He has done internally and externally. Gratitude seals seasons properly. It ensures that you move forward whole, not hurried. Archangel Michael says this is also a moment of responsibility. Not pressure, but stewardship. What you have received is meant to be handled with care, wisdom, and humility. Use it well. Protect it wisely. Carry it with love and pressure. Some of you will realize that the miracle is already here. It simply arrived so gently that you didn't recognize it at first. Others will see it manifest shortly after this message. Either way, heaven's response has already been released. Timing is no longer the question. Alignment was the answer. Let go of the need to revisit old seasons for validation. You do not need to prove how hard it was. God knows. And what He is doing now honors what you endured without requiring you to relive it. Archangel Michael stands firmly as this chapter is sealed. Nothing meant for you will miss you. Nothing sent to harm you will succeed. You are covered, guided, and positioned. Type IT is sealed in the comments if you receive this with faith. Blessing code 2024 is now activated over your life. And now, let this final moment flow into obedience. I hear the Lord saying, "What I have sealed in you, now help me release through you." This message did not end with you. It is meant to travel through you to someone else who is still waiting for hope. When you give through Super Thanks, step into membership, or sow through PayPal using the link in the description, you are not donating, you are responding prophetically. Your seed becomes light in dark places, oil in empty lamps, and bread for hungry souls. I am speaking directly to you now. This is your appointed moment to act. I declare that every giver is blessed with increase, protection, and divine return pressed down and overflowing. Move now in obedience, because heaven always honors those who partner with God's work on earth.